This episode of Mad Rush is dedicated to my dear friend Bo Cooper. Bo is a great man and a great Mississippi State Bulldog. Love you, Bo. Hail State.
I spent years trying to do comedy the way I thought comedy should be done, or the way it was supposed to be done.
Right.
You go to open mics and then you get 5 minutes on stage and then you get 10 minutes on stage. And that was what you do. And I spent years racking my head around doing it the way it had always been done. But then also being frustrated that I live in Birmingham, Alabama. It was in a class, I took classes through Second City. So I survived COVID by taking Second City courses. And I was doing open mics online. Can you imagine telling a joke? I mean, you know the reaction time? So like you tell a joke and you don't know if it's funny until like 3 seconds later.
Welcome to the Mad Rush Podcast. I'm Trisha Addix, the original sorority rush consultant. While the stories I have to share are nothing short of astonishing, this podcast goes beyond the wild client tales and sorority life. I'll be engaging with fascinating guests from both within and outside the Greek world, uncovering the surprising connections that bind us all together. Join me for a journey that's as entertaining as it is enlightening. Welcome to Mad Rush.
Comedy for a while. So I hated it. I hated the job, but I was a yearbook rep. This is my second school year of not being a yearbook rep.
And what is a yearbook rep?
Right? We go to schools and sell them their yearbooks and the program and work with their yearbook clubs to help them get their yearbooks.
And you were in sales.
So yes, but my real sales experience forever, I was in advertising sales. I helped launch the first social magazine in Jackson called VIP Jackson Magazine. And then it got bought out by Clarion Ledger that's owned by USA Today. Then we left. I went and I was the community outreach director at the CBS station. Do Not Competes were up. My girlfriend Lee that started VIP was like, hey, Do Not Competes are up. Do you want to do it again? So we did. And we launched a magazine called Social South. And then after a few years, and I love that because you're just like working with your girlfriends and just, it's just business women making money and just doing great things and promoting, nonprofit events all over. Then my husband got a job offer in Nashville. So we moved to Nashville where I got to work at Nashville Scene and In Focus, which was In Focus was just the mothership for social magazines. So to be able to work there was a dream come true. And we joked that Nashville was too big, Jackson was too little, but Birmingham is just right. So
Neither one of you are from Birmingham.
We're not. No, I love it here. I
knew you weren't.
I'm closer to my parents who are in North Mississippi, and I can get to them so fast. And I love that. We can meet up in Tupelo for lunch and she can see the grandkids. I can see her and my dad. And I pass by Sugary's Bakery that I talk about all the time. And sometimes with my husband, I'm like, it's chocolate pie day. Are we just passing by Sugary's on chocolate pie day when we could be getting a pie? And he's like,
we are turning off. We're turning off.
Get me the pie. So, but it's insanely amazing. So yeah, we live in Birmingham, but we absolutely love it. It just feels like home and has. So I was able to let my job know like, hey, things are happening and this is going to work. So this is going to be my last school year. So last school year, because like most moms, our lives are not by the calendar, but they're by the school year.
Yeah, no kidding.
So last school year was my first school year of complete entrepreneurship. And so this is my second school year of complete entrepreneurship.
And so I'm curious because I've written a book and it's at publishers now, but like, how did that come? Like, tell me how you, obviously I want you on here hilarious talking about Rush, but I also like find you so inspiring,
Thank you.
because you are doing a journey that anyway, that I want to be on, not necessarily, I mean, not at all the comedy journey, but just
Right, but your path, you want to be
right.
doing this for your thing.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay, so back to how this started. I actually had this I've had this made into a sticker. I had this made into, it's going to be a screensaver. So if you pre-order the book, you get some screensavers with some of my sayings.
I pre-ordered the book. I didn't get a screensaver.
We're just about to announce them.
Okay.
Yes. So all you'll do, if you have pre-ordered the book, thank you so much.
Of course.
Is
everybody should pre-order the book.
Everyone should pre-order. Hey, Jesus, it's me. I have questions, comments, and concerns. All you'll do is you just take a screenshot. If you ordered it from Amazon, Books A Million, Barnes & Noble, screenshot it. It'll have a place where you can upload it, and you're going to get really great pre-order gifts. So we're just getting those nailed down. But here it is. I don't know if you can see it. It says, "Dear Lord, do something so big it could only be you."
I saw that, and I actually saved that.
Yes.
That's amazing. Yeah.
I have this as a sticker you can put on your whatever cup you use, on your phone, on your planner, wherever to remind it. But truly, I spent years trying to do comedy the way I thought comedy should be done, or the way it was supposed to be done.
Right.
You go to open mics, and then you get 5 minutes on stage, and then you get 10 minutes on stage. And that was what you do. And I spent years racking my head around doing it the way it had always been done, but then also being frustrated that I live in Birmingham, Alabama, and the comedy club where I've took my first classes, it's now a doctor's office because of COVID. Like they had to close, and it's 3 hours to Nashville. It's 3 hours to Atlanta. And I was looking at, okay, my kids are with my parents. Can I go to Atlanta? Can I go here? And it was in a class. I took classes through Second City because when COVID happened, they only offered in-person classes, but they had to keep income coming. So they had to learn how to do classes online. So I survived COVID by taking Second City courses.
Online?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And I was doing open mics online. Can you imagine telling a joke? I mean, the reaction time. So like you tell a joke and you don't know if it's funny until like 3 seconds later.
Whoa.
So you really get very confident you just have to be confident with your material that it is going to be funny. But Second City had people there that gave you real-time feedback on, hey, this is working. Have you thought about adding this into your set? What about this? So yes, I did open mics through Zoom, but it was one class before it started. Our teacher, Tamale Sepp, I love her. We're still friends. She is still teaching at Second City. She said, guys, listen, one thing that's happening is we are having influencers join our program because they have this great following on social media and they get booked into clubs, but they don't know how to build out a full hour of material.
Right.
They know this. And so they're coming to us so they can build out their hour. And I thought, okay, wait a minute. I know how to write stand-up. I just need to find my people. And so as much as I didn't want to do Instagram, I did not want to do it this way. But I was like, okay, this is how you're going to find your tribe of people that will laugh with you. And then you can tell them, hey, I'm going to be at this club, and they'll come see you. And so that is when I first started posting on social media, I would pray every night and every morning, dear Lord, do something so big it could only be you. And that is what brings me to how I got my book deal. My agent's sister saw one of my reels that was a repost. I posted it in the summer. The reel maybe got like 5,000 views. I had done If the Queen Died in the South, my page.
Oh, yeah, I love that.
Yes. At that time, I had about 25,000 followers, but I was tired. And I thought, well, let me repost something and see how it does. I reposted about advanced maternal age, and the ending said, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. Well, what if I don't want to? my agent's sister, Nikki, who I love now, saw it, sent it to her sister. Her sister sent me a DM that was hidden in my like hidden messages that I happened to see.
I just discovered that. I didn't mean to interrupt you, but
you gotta check your hidden messages.
I literally, that happened to me this week. And I was like, wait, I didn't even know that this was a thing.
There are message requests or message whatever. I happened to see her in there. She was like, listen, I'm an agent. Have you ever thought about writing a book? We had a meeting. Come to find out, this lady is one of the top literary agents in the business. We're talking Dr. Phil, Joel Osteen, Reverend T.D. Jakes, Sarah Jakes, Roma Downey. She loves her heart. She does not have to. She loves finding people on the internet and personalities and helping to guide their career.
Wow.
And so she told me, this is the format for a book proposal. We talked out what the book would be. We both were like, it's got to be, Hey, Jesus, it's me. And so she walked me through the book proposal. She got me at the time, a yearbook rep in front of the top 4 publishers in the industry. And it Hachette just felt like home to me. When I was a gift rep, when I first moved to Birmingham, I was a gift rep. So, everyone goes to Atlanta to buy their stuff.
Right.
And if you're not a big enough brand, you'll join a rep group. So I was a rep for Daniel Richards' rep group. And we repped Hachette. I was a Hachette book rep.
Meant to be.
So I, for years, had been telling people, oh, you need this book in your store. Like, people love books as a gift. And so now I'm with and so now I am a Hachette book.
That's amazing.
So and my girlfriend, Jody Burt, who does the Praying Scriptures series, she was like, Ellen, I know it's just such a God thing. Like, people want to know, like, okay, what did you do? How did you get this? And it's like, it's truly when you're a prayerful person, the Lord just opens up doors that you never knew existed. I just would tell anyone that, I have a girlfriend that she worked for the state for 20 years and she retired. Her goal is to have a cleaning business. Like, she's a very organized, tidy person and she just wants to help people. And she was like, Ellen, I just jumped out on my own and I now have my own cleaning business and I am fully booked. And I'm like, thank the Lord, because we need you in this world. We need people.
We need clean people.
We need people that helping crazy people stay tidy is their dream. Like, we need you. So your dream does not have to be a book. It does not have to be comedian. Whatever your dream is, you have to give it to the Lord. The post I did today about Jesus taking the wheel.
Oh, that was great. And you looked really pretty. Did you have on the Dior stuff?
Did I have that on? You know what? I did not have that. I did not have on the Dior yet. House Labs by Lady Gaga.
Okay.
It is it's got less of a shimmer, but Lady Gaga's House Labs, and I also use her finishing powder, and I use that is this right here, is House Labs. She created a makeup line for performers because it still has skincare in it. Because she realizes that sometimes we have to wear a lot for a long time. So she put skincare in her foundation.
Well, I'm just glad you didn't adopt the meat dress from Lady Gaga.
I'm not going to do the meat dress. You were clear. You were clear on that. So
no, but yeah, it looks amazing.
But that is based on that experience of me going like, oh, well, most people do it like this and most people do it like that. So that sketch is 1000% based on my own journey. And that when you give that journey to the Lord, there is a God math that takes place that makes things happen that in our way of thinking should never happen, but it does.
I have so many stories like that. Not like of success, but just like things that are just, there's no explaining them.
He carries the one like we could never.
I have this story that I'm trying to figure out how to say it on a podcast because it has a picture with it. Like the whole point of the story, I call it the magic sidewalk. But we're working on our YouTube channel so that I can show that story because it's so impactful and so powerful. But I need photographic backup or whatever.
Yes, absolutely.
So that is like I said, so inspiring to me, and I think that so many people who know your story are like, wow, that's, 2 years ago you were selling yearbooks.
Yeah.
And now you have a book deal. And when is your book coming out?
September 17th.
So my sister-in-law, Paige, when she saw my post that you were going to be on my podcast, she texted me and she said, oh my gosh, you got to do the crunch. I had never heard this. I went back and did it. I mean, I went back.
Also in a sticker, also going to be a screensaver.
I'm so excited to have these screensavers when I get them.
I'd rather chew glass than talk ugly, but crunch, crunch, here we go.
Yes, she was like, crunch, crunch. And yes. I of course, went back and looked at it. I mean, and it's crazy how many people that are in my world, because you are, like, we are your target market. I mean, I'm sure everyone's your target market, but my friends, my everyone, like
fun,
your fans.
Colorful Southern women, and I say the world needs more colorful women because you don't have to be Southern to get it. But I just think that I say colorful women and the men who love us is my demographic.
There you go.
And, and I loved it too. When I do my Southern mom, my favorite, the people who are completely triggered by my childhood, who are like, I feel so sorry for your daughter. I'm like, you should be sending me the prayers because this is based on my life, not my daughter's, which my mom and I had the biggest laugh about it. But my favorite is when people say, I would get comments like, Nigerian moms have entered the chat. Korean moms have entered the chat. Latina moms have entered the chat. And I love that they're going, okay, well, we do this in upstate New York. And I'm like, I only have the one accent. So I can only, yes, I know that all of the moms are crazy and we all do these things, but all I know is the Southern mom perspective.
Well, and in my world, that's a big thing. So I created this Rush consulting space, like 8 years ago. And now I see not all these, but we have a ton of clients from New York and California, and they're fascinated by this world. And you're right. There is a commonality in what they do, but they do it differently.
Right. Yes. But I feel like the commonality is we want the best for our daughters.
Exactly.
We want our daughters to be prepared. Having a Rush coach, my husband went, what? And I went, I had a pageant coach.
Exactly.
I was in Miss Mississippi. My mother was not about to send me to the Miss Mississippi pageant without prior proper training.
For anything in life, you have to be prepared. You have to, know what you're getting into.
I'm sorry. I just realized I have a knot in my hair. Let me get it out because it looks weird. Anyway.
I was going to point that out, but then I saw you messing with it. So I was like, she's going to get it.
He's going to get it. So yeah, you would not. And also from my mother, it was
you
not.
You didn't fix it, by the way.
I didn't fix it. I made it worse because I keep tucking my hair back. Like I have it fixed.
I wish y'all could see this. She is literally like, I don't know what she's doing with her hair. You got it.
There you go. This is what happens. I don't brush my hair.
Well, no, that's not advice I can take.
I do. So, and that's, people are like, how do you do your hair? And I'm like, it's genetics. It's my dad. And I don't color it either. So I haven't.
Okay. That's annoying.
I know, but I can't eat sugar. But anyway, it's fine. Okay. But you would never, and my mother told me this. She said, I want you to be able to hold your head up high. I don't want you going into Miss Mississippi. And I think it's the same way for Rush. She didn't want me going there and feeling like, oh, I'm just a little girl from Ripley, Mississippi, and I'm not supposed to be here. She wanted me to feel like I could enter any room like I was sent there and like I am supposed to be there. And it's the same for moms. They just want their daughters. It's a grueling process. It's a long process. And so all of what you're doing is just giving the daughter tools to remain confident, hold her head up high. And I would imagine too that through your process, you're probably also helping girls understand, like, what do they want
Exactly.
in a sorority? It's not just, it's a two-way street.
It's a mutual selection process.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And so they've got to know, what are you looking for? Are you looking for how many Supreme Court justices do you have that came from your house? Like how many, or how many got a rich husband?
Yeah. That's a great question to ask during Rush. Do your alumni find rich husbands? That's a great one.
Right. Because if that's what you are looking for,
please, if you're listening, do not ask that question in Rush.
please don't ask that question. Do not do that. Do not follow any advice from me.
Yes. Let's just make a whole rule for this. Do not follow Ellen's Rush advice.
Do not try these stunts at home.
Exactly. Yeah. So your Rush series is spot on. And it's, so there's a thing, and I have a son who went to Ole Miss, and I have met some of my favorite humans.
Yes.
At Ole Miss, or from Mississippi, but you guys are a different breed.
We just are. We are a club, not a state. We know everybody. And if we don't know you, we're going to figure out how we do know you. Okay. If you take Catherine Beck Gifts on the square in Oxford, her mom messages me, I love you. I think you're great. My daughter has a store on the square. She is dealing with Rush. She thinks this is great. Then I realize that my nephew's girlfriend is going through Rush right now at Ole Miss. So I have just talked to his mama, and I get on the phone with Catherine Beck Gifts. We talk all about Rush. We talk about all about Ole Miss. She knows I'm a state fan, but we are just raking up kin of all the people we know, and yada, yada, yada. She's got my nephew's girlfriend's bid day gift all set up.
Yeah. So bid day gifts, talk about those.
Yes.
Because that is a unique thing for some schools, Ole Miss being one of them. I was I was live streaming Georgia yesterday, and that's not a thing. And I said that on my live stream, like, that is not a thing at Georgia. Okay. So I know Mississippi State does them because I did a live with LA Green. Mississippi State does them. Ole Miss does them. Auburn and Alabama. Mm-hmm. So these stores, so LA Green, they're a sponsor of Panhellenic and sponsor of Rush. So how it happens. So I called Catherine Beck Gifts and I said, I want to do this dollar amount bid day gift. I give her the name of the girl going through Rush. The first people to know what house each girl gets in are these stores. Yes, I'm so glad you said that because it's so fascinating to me. And so she in LA even said, listen, I have to go in the back where it's quiet so people can't hear me saying so-and-so is Coyote, so-and-so is DG, because they know first who's going where. And so they get all of the bid day gifts together. The house mother tells them where to put them. So they take them to the house mother puts them somewhere. And then once the craziness is over, the girls go and they get their bid day gifts. And it's filled with things that are very specific to the house that they have just been invited to join. So let's clarify that because I understood everything you said, of course. Yeah. Okay. But so what Ellen has said here, and this is when I first learned about it, I was fascinated. And this was many years ago, but computers and everything's working through the night. The people that own these stores are the first people to get the list of the sorority pledge classes. And I have wanted to camp out in front of these stores and to find out, because this is top secret information. And she's saying that this person has to go into the back of the store and like whisper the names of these girls. And it's crazy. Yes. And I even asked her,
I said, I would imagine, and she kept numb because you can imagine too that these stores want to keep this partnership.
Oh,
But
absolutely.
can't you imagine a mom going, what if I did $1,000? Then could you tell me? What if I did? And when I told Catherine Beck I wanted to do something big, she goes, define big. I've got an $800 basket.
Whoa.
And I went, I meant small.
Yes, I meant small. So yeah, these people are into it. I said something yesterday about that sweet girl, Bama Morgan. Do you know who she is?
Yes.
I believe it. I think it was her. I'm not 100% sure. But there's also something called Rush Happies.
Yes.
So tell people what Rush Happies are.
Okay, so a happy, not everyone in the South does a happy, but in Mississippi, we love a happy. Okay, so if I were to give you, let me never miss a chance to plug. I might bring you some stickers.
That is Hey Jesus, It's Me koozie and some stickers.
I have a Hey Jesus, It's Me koozie, some stickers. I might wrap it in cellophane with a bow, and I would go, girl, I got you a little happy. It's just a little something to brighten your day. Like, it's not an earth-shattering gift. It's not, you may not would ever buy it for yourself. I was just thinking of you, and I got you a little happy.
I call it a Cersei, and Collier, my producer, was like, wait, what is a Cersei? Because I want to always thank people for being on this podcast. And if you've been on it before, I'm still working on the Cerseis. But he was like, what is a Cersei? It's the same thing as a happy.
My girlfriend Queen in South Carolina calls it a Cersei. And she goes, oh, so you mean a Cersei? And I went, a Cersei? Oh, that's a good name. But yeah, like if you just like give your girlfriend, if you just see a little candle, a little soap, a little something, and you just got her just a little happy, just thinking of you, a little happy.
So during Rush, the Happies, there is a store on the square of Mississippi that also does that. I'm not going to say their name because you like the Catherine person, so I'm not going to say the other.
No, you say their name.
I think it's called Olive Juice.
Yes. I love that store. Yes.
Yes. Anyway, yes. They had, and I don't know if they still do, it's probably online now, like a piece of paper that they would give the moms. And the people that are giving these baskets are typically moms, but you might send it to your niece or your nephew's girlfriend, or anybody can do it.
Yes.
And sometimes people get multiple bid day baskets. But
yes,
they had a little form that they were giving these moms at the beginning of Rush Week, and you checked a little box that said, I want a happy per day. And then I want a bid day basket.
Honey, yes. Okay. Let me paint you a picture.
Please do.
I am a senior in high school. It is the summer before my senior year, and I have cheer camp and at Ole Miss. And my mother informs me I will not be able to watch any of your competitions. Okay. Also, let me back up again. This may surprise everyone and no one. I am the only person I know of that started their senior year of high school as their mascot and ended competing in Miss Mississippi. Okay. But I will just tell you, I don't do anything halfway. I was an award-winning mascot. No one knew that UCA gave out a gold ribbon. They thought blue was the highest. Until my senior year, I won a gold ribbon. And the guy said, we don't do these, but this mascot is so outstanding.
Wait, so who's UCA? What are you talking about? Gold
Universal
ribbon?
Cheerleaders Association. But my mother, I'm going to camp, and my mother goes, Ellen, Sylvia's daughter is getting married. And this was the mid-90s when all the women helped with all the weddings. Like, there were no caterers, there were no planners, there were no nothing. Sylvia's daughter, Debbie, is getting married that Saturday, and I have got to help with this and this and this, and I'm not going to be able to come to any of your things, and I'm so sorry. And I was like, it's my senior year. Like, you're not going to come to anything at camp? And she was like, I'm not. My mother called Oxford Floral. That woman had Oxford Floral send me gifts and flowers every single day. By the time it was over, the girls were like, Ellen, go over there and get your stuff. Because everyone else, the mothers just like, they all got in together and got something from our local florist and sent it to everybody like when they came to visit us one day. So everything was in the, yeah. And then to make it really fun, I had a guy best friend and his girlfriend was a cheerleader. And so he sent her like a dozen roses, but then sent me like one thing, like little, and just said, good luck. And she did not appreciate that.
I was going to say, I bet she was not happy.
I bet I did not care.
And I got to interject too. Yeah. So she's talking about Oxford Floral, which is a great, amazing. They're really great, but there's also a small town floral thing. I have the craziest story. So my husband's family is all from Knoxville, Tennessee. They all went to Tennessee. We have a huge Tennessee rivalry, Georgia. So yes. My husband is the one who went to Georgia instead of Tennessee. So one year Georgia beats Tennessee, and I call a florist in Knoxville, Tennessee, and I say to the florist, will you please send Greg's uncle, will you please send Pops, and of course she knew who he was, red and black carnations. This was the Monday after the Georgia-Tennessee game. And I said, because I don't know if you know this, but Georgia beat Tennessee this last Saturday. And she said, honey, there ain't a soul alive in Knoxville that doesn't know that Georgia beat Tennessee, and I am not sending that man red and black flowers. You can do it somewhere else. She wouldn't take my order. She wouldn't take my order.
I bet she didn't take your order.
No, she didn't. And I guarantee you, if I called Oxford Floral and after Georgia beats
and said, "Can you send something this fall?" They would be like, "No, we will not.
we will not do it."
Yes,
I'm gonna try it after Georgia beats Ole Miss this fall, but we'll see.
They won't do it. Listen, I have a chapter in my book called "Egg Bowl Full of Nuts" about our egg bowl.
Oh yeah, so tell people what the egg bowl is, because if you don't know, you don't know.
Yeah. And once you know, you got to watch it. So the Egg Bowl is our Mississippi State Ole Miss rivalry. It is called the Egg Bowl because literally a football is shaped like an egg. And the story of Egg Bowl Full of Nuts is this, which, by the way, I had to rewrite it 3 times. I'm so thankful for my editor, because like the first one, she goes, this could be anybody. This could be this is not special. And then I wrote it again, and she goes, I love you, Ellen. You changed up the angle. I'm still not getting what makes this so special. So I get on a call with my agent and my editor, and I say, listen, I don't think, and I was very nice about it, but I got very heated and I got very passionate. And I said, I was in California. I went to Napa when I was in my early 20s. I studied wine at Culinary Institute for like mastering European wines. I did a class. And I said, when I got off the plane and I had to drive into the Napa Valley, I stopped and I saw like San Francisco Giants, all of these major sports. And I thought, well, no wonder these people don't care about SEC sports. They have all this other stuff. And I said, but in Mississippi, we don't have anything else. Like, we're so sorry. We're not going to win a national championship unless it's baseball. We're not going to win a national championship. We don't have a team on Sunday that we're all united behind. Like some people,
like the Falcons in Georgia.
Yeah. Some people love Atlanta. Some people love Tennessee. Some people love the Saints, but we don't unite. We don't unite on Sundays. Okay. And our state is like 4 million people, and our 2 SEC schools are 100 miles from each other. And we are such a genteel and loving people that by the time the Egg Bowl comes around, that stadium is a crock pot of hate that is just ready to boil over, because whoever wins the next 60 minutes will determine bragging rights for the next 364 days. And she goes, okay, write that.
It's a clean old-fashioned hate.
She goes, okay, could you write that? Could you write what you just said? And I went, okay, I will.
There you had it. That is it. So the Egg Bowl is being played on a Saturday this year, or maybe
I
Sunday.
know. They flip-flop us around. The best is when it is played. It's normally played on Thanksgiving. There is a VHS tape of my now husband putting a turkey into a fryer at a turkey tailgate.
That's awesome.
And pretty much what I have figured out from like my Ole Miss friends, they're like, okay, we go to the beach when it's in Starkville and we tailgate like crazy when it's in Oxford.
Yeah, the Grove. Yeah, I'm going to do a whole podcast about all these schools. I mean,
you should.
Individually, like
you should.
How to tailgate in the Grove.
Well, and I have you the perfect person for the Grove. My girlfriend, Jane Taylor Foster, ad rep forever at Mississippi Magazine, just the queen, but she does the zebra tent in Oxford. She does the zebra tent. It is amazing. One of the craziest things that's ever happened is when Mississippi State and Ole Miss, we were having our heyday and we were like neck and neck for like number one.
Oh, wow.
You know, it was Dak Prescott's junior year at Mississippi State, but Ole Miss was still doing amazing. So game day came to Oxford and I was in Nashville with my mom and my daughter. I can still remember I could play Clue perfectly because I remember where I was at these places.
Ellen in the van with a turkey leg.
I was waiting for a table at the Loveless Cafe and ESPN goes to the zebra tent and it is huge. They cannot have crystal champagne flutes. A past president of the junior league posts on social media, really, Ole Miss gets a national stage and they show, plastic champagne flutes and this, that, and the other. And just the whirlwind of the defense for Jane and the tent, who has everyone's beloved ad rep at Mississippi Magazine. And it was just like,
I mean, and that's another thing. Mississippi people circle the wagons. You protect your own.
Yes.
And you will stick up. You're the loyal.
Yes. And so there were people who were protecting this person and the people who were protecting this person. And I was just at Loveless Cafe, just eating my biscuits and just do I even want to go home? Do I want to? Because this was before we moved. We still lived in Jackson. It was crazy.
So wait, you're Mississippi State fan from Jackson. I've never met one of you.
I am from North Mississippi. I was born and raised in Ripley, Mississippi, Tippah County on the Tennessee border, about 45 minutes from Ole Miss.
Okay.
And so in that area, everyone is either, you are declared at birth what you are.
Right. I know that for sure.
You were declared at birth. And so while my dad didn't go to college, he has a construction company. So he just fit and felt more comfortable with the agriculture deal. Actually, my mom, one time when I was little, I said, Mom, why are we Mississippi State fans and not Ole Miss fans? And she goes, we're just not that type of people.
So one of my very best friends in Atlanta is from Starkville, Mississippi.
Okay,
and
yes.
He married a girl from Florida who's also one of my very best friends. But when my son decided he was going to Ole Miss, and we actually had a graduation party at their house for my older son who did not go to Ole Miss. But for when my younger son went to Ole Miss, he called and he said, I have a very painful, we have something this is so painful to talk about for me. And I was like, oh, what is going on? Like, are you okay? Whatever. He said, I have purchased an Ole Miss banner. What are those things? The triangle thing? What are I don't know. The things that go on the wall. Pendant. Thank you. Thank you.
Pendant. Yeah.
He said, I had to purchase an Ole Miss pendant for Charlie today, and I'm not okay. And and he was not even being funny. He was like, I just want you to understand how much I love Charlie, is what he was saying, because I did this for him. But it went against every single thing that he believed and felt. And this was before my business, before I understood a little bit more. Yeah. Well, actually, it was right at the inception of my business. But I was like, okay. Like, I'm from Charlotte, North Carolina, and my dad was an Oklahoma Sooners fan, which is not an SEC thing.
My sweet nephew is at Ole Miss, and I have been doing wellness checks on my brother.
Exactly.
And so is my husband, because my husband, I actually went to Southern, because the thing is.
And she means Southern Mississippi.
Yes, Southern Miss in South Mississippi.
At Georgia, that's Georgia Southern.
Okay. We used to be Mississippi Southern. I don't know why they changed it. But one thing I observed, I had friends that went to Mississippi State and Ole Miss, and they charted their own course. They went out, they made new friends, and they did what you're really supposed to do in college. But what I saw is that when they would come back to church, or when people would talk about them at church, they would say, she's highfalutin, she's too big for her britches, she's too good to hang out with us. Okay. So I thought, well, what if I just go somewhere else and y'all don't know? Nobody knows that I'm not hanging out with y'all. And there was nothing against the people. I just wanted something different. And my dad was not going to pay for out-of-state tuition, and he was not going to pay for a Millsaps. And so I said, and he thought that locked me into Mississippi State. And I can still remember the look on his face when I said, Dad, I figured it out. I can go to Southern Miss. It's 4.5 hours away. It's still in-state tuition, but it will be like going to another world. Because if you know anything about Mississippi, we are 3 separate states: North Mississippi, Central Mississippi, and South Mississippi. Well, South Mississippi is a whole laid-back vibe and totally different. So I went to Southern Miss, but my brother and my husband both went to Mississippi State, and he's fine because he understands. He said all of his friends are going to go to Ole Miss, and he wants to be with his buddies. His girlfriend of 2.5 years is there. So why would you want to go? Why would you want to go somewhere else when all of your friends are over here?
Yeah, that's brave though, right?
It is. But one of my brother's best friends, he was huge Ole Miss fan. He went to Mississippi State for the same reason. That's where all of his friends were. And he just had his Ole Miss flag hanging on the wall, just so everyone knew, like, hey, I am just here because my friends are here. This is not who I am. This is not who I am as a person. I am just here with my friends.
Yeah. And so that, we got to talk a little bit, and I promised her, but I'm not keeping this promise. I promised her I wouldn't take up too much of her time, but it's just too fun.
I know. Can you please send me your list of what you're going to talk about? And I was like, oh, that's cute. She's not. We're going to talk about it.
But you do have to, because you're on Mad Rush, you got to talk about the Mississippi moms with the rush. I mean, because that's the thing. And it's also something that I was not prepared for as a mom.
Yeah.
I was prepared for it, like, as a business person. Like, I know what's going on. But like before, I did not know what you Mississippi moms were like. And it's, you gotta share that.
Will you quantify what we're like, or how are other people not like us?
Okay, so I think there is a level of trust that you guys have with each other, and that there's just a level of understanding. Not that I don't trust my friends, but there's a level of understanding that you are going to go to bat for your friends' kids in a way, because you understand the system. You know what's going on in a way, because it's the history, I think. And and so this loyalty and this history, which loyalty goes for the whole school thing too, but you're going to protect your own, and you're going to do it in a way that is very unique to you guys.
Yes, I was definitely raised by my mother, but also by another tribe of amazing other women.
The tribe. Yes, that's what I'm talking about.
I had a tribe of women, and my mother loves my girlfriends just like their moms love me. And we look out and protect one another. it is, a lot of us are from smaller towns.
Right.
And then even if they're in larger towns, think about it, especially when you go back to the time where weddings weren't put on by caterers and event planners, they were put on by mothers. So you're going to take, like, this is somebody who you'll eventually be helping to plan their wedding, or you'll be helping to, you'll be doing their rehearsal dinner, because we've all grown up together, and, throw them in my car. I'll take them to the pool or whatever. But, Mississippi is made up of a lot of small towns where we do really look out and take care of each other. And I can already hear in my head the mothers calling their daughters and saying, now you remember, so-and-so is coming through Rush, and her mother was your Sunday school teacher. Okay. And they're just not going to let you forget, or, hey,
right,
when we were down on our luck, it was so-and-so's granddaddy was who, helped prop us up. So you remember that when so-and-so goes through Rush. So we're just helping them know the past. And if you think you're about to get, crazy and cut so-and-so's daughter, I just need you to understand there's going to be hell at home.
And that is so, just so you understand what's going on. I'm fortunate enough to have a tribe of women and friends. My son got married, and these people stepped up, and we could not have done it without my son and daughter-in-law's, parents, friends, whatever. But that's not as much of a history thing, meaning they were just as fiercely loyal and protective and helpful. And I'm still my daughter-in-law's mother, and I talk about it all the time, like how amazing these women are. But you guys have had this history of doing this, and it's actually a really cool thing, and it's really beautiful.
My brother recorded, and they didn't know they were being recorded, and he sent it to me, and it was the most precious thing. And it's years of these women sticking together and taking care of each other. My mother had an episode, which means that's all the information you get, and probably all the information I got. But my mother had an episode, and she was at the hospital for her episode. Well, then her girlfriends came to the hospital, but then they also were getting a meal together because the preacher's wife was having surgery. And my brother just recorded them going, okay, well, I'm going to do the cornbread, and I'm going to do this. Well, we need, she can't eat past here. So let's get her a good meal, that she can have 24 hours over. He can eat off that meal too. We'll make extra while she's not eating. He can eat that. But then let's talk about when she can go back on salt. And he was like, Ellen, I just want you to hear, like, this is just the sweetest conversation, like just the thought process. It's not like, whereas I am maybe, let's just go and pick up a frozen casserole and send it over. The love and the care that's going through. But absolutely, if your son married a sweet girl from Mississippi, you are now in the club. You are now one of theirs, and they love you, and they're there to help you with anything. And I would even say that you could go, we're broken down on the side of the road, but I'm so-and-so's mom who's married to so-and-so, and I found your number randomly. Could you help? And they would be there.
Oh yeah. And and that's what the whole supporting each other. What I'm saying is that's I'm fortunate enough to have that, not from Mississippi, but you guys take the history and the running with a casserole. I have a friend who is from Kentucky, and she, a very close friend, and I didn't know this because I grew up in a very different environment. I don't even know I won't even get into all that. But she was the first one who said, I'm coming and running with a casserole. And it was for anything. I mean, she was from a small town in Kentucky. And that was a thing there too, running with a casserole. Come running with a casserole. It doesn't matter what it is. And we still joke about it because now I understand it. I'll call her and say, I just had a bad day. And she'll say, all right, I'm coming running with a casserole. Do I need to send the casserole? Because she is now in Louisiana. teaching them how to run with a casserole, but they also,
yes. But the women there, and also here's the other thing behind it. And I also, this goes back into the chapter. A lot of people from Mississippi, we don't move. We may go from North Mississippi to South Mississippi. You may move from Jackson to Meridian. You may move from the coast to Jackson. Once you're in Mississippi, it's a very comfortable place because we're all just one big family. So there's not a lot of reasons to move. So we're all together because we have this whole history with each other.
Yes, the history.
We have a thing that we call raking up kin, which is where when we meet, we figure out who do we have in common.
Yeah, so and that's a across the board thing. Like, do you know so and so?
Yes.
You guys do it to next level.
To next level. Like I would talk to your friend in Starkville, and we would have 15 friends.
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
Yes. And so, and like people will say like, oh, I used to live in West Point. Do you know Nancy Carpenter? She's CVB Columbus CEO. And they're like, I love Miss Nancy. I'm like, I know I love Miss Nancy too. So we've all just stayed there because not a lot of people move. So you have these families that have lived there. And so the roots are just very, very deep.
Yeah, I love that. It's the roots that are deep, and you can have those friendships, and I'm so grateful I do, but it's a different foundation. And
yes.
But I still think that is so cool. And it was one of the coolest things to see when my son went to Ole Miss, and when I became friends with these people, and I'm watching them, and I'm like, this is really cool.
Yes.
And also, which I'll go into on another day, the whole tailgating thing is done. I have one of Charlie's fraternity brother's parents have this great tent, but then there's the Memphis tent. Then there's the all the different locations tents, and it's a family affair, and it's a thing.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a tent. My girlfriend, so her daughter cheered at Ole Miss. But she had been doing cheer forever. And so she gave her parents 1 year notice. She gave them a year to accept it. And she said, I'm trying out for cheerleader at Ole Miss. And that's the thing too. It's not like you can not make the team and then go to Mississippi State. Like you have to be enrolled at the school. This is where I'm going. So if you don't make the cheer team, you're just at Ole Miss not cheering. But she told her mom, she said, I want to win a national championship. And they have a national championship team. She won it. She got it. They did win. Yes, Ole Miss won a national championship. So she has it. So she got what she wanted. And I asked my girlfriend, I said, how are you? Like, you have been going to Mississippi State since you were a baby. Like, how is it? And she said, Ellen, honestly, I tailgate with the cheer moms. We are all just so happy for our daughters that they're able to cheer at the Division I level. So there's no one's really talking about, Mississippi State or any of that. She's like, we're just there. We're having a good time. And we're just so happy that our daughters are getting to experience D1 cheer.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, well, that makes sense.
Yeah, that changes the game. And when Ellen talks about these cheerleaders, so my son's fraternity plays another fraternity from Mississippi State every year for charity. And they have all the sororities do cheer and it's just two fraternities, but they do play it in the Vought. And anyway, these cheerleaders, so there are some sororities that are very cheerleader heavy, meaning there are a lot of girl, and watching though, it's next freaking level. And then we have the other sororities who aren't as cheerleader heavy, and they're just, drinking their White Claws, like confused. And I'm just like, please don't do a pyramid. We
can discuss that being a cheerleader is basically an automatic bid.
Yeah. Yes. That is. So there you go. If you're worried about going through recruitment, which I always say rush, and I get a lot of comments about that.
Oh yeah, that it's called recruitment. I don't care. Somebody said when I did the piece about the rec letters, they were like, you don't have to do rec letters anymore. And I went, well, that's a trap.
So true. It is a trap, especially at these Southern schools.
Well, my girlfriend, Lee, that I was talking about that I worked with, She has a marketing company. She said, Ellen, do you understand that I start making Rush stationery for girls and they start thinking about what they want their Rush stationery to look like in the 10th grade?
Oh, please don't listen to this, y'all. I'm not giving you Rush stationery. But the packets.
Yes.
Whoa. So
Yes.
there is a woman in Memphis. I'm her biggest fan. She is so supportive of me and my business, but she's been doing this for free for people in Memphis for years. I don't think she does it anymore because the packets have gone by the wayside. Everything's electronic now. But y'all, these packets that people used to put together for Rush were like, that's part of what she's talking about. I mean, they would literally have to send them in huge boxes.
Yes.
And I was in that Bama Rush documentary, and one girl did this going to Alabama on her own. I don't know how she did it without a team of moms doing the packets with her. But I do get people calling me, and they're like, my clients' parents, and they're like, I just got a packet from someone in Memphis. I'm supposed to write a rec. Why didn't you have us do packets? And I'm like, oh God, please. I don't know.
Yeah. No, I've had to pick up for friends. Like, so, with Lee being, having a magazine, she was a FIMU at Mississippi State. So people would want a rec letter from her. And I would sometimes it'd be like, hey, if you're going to be on that side of town, there's going to be a box. Will you get it and just bring it back to the office? Okay, I will. And this is just this amazing. It just reminds me of Elle Wood when she turned in something and she's like, it's scented.
Yes, that is so true. And yes, it's a great correlation. And she was like this great, amazing, smart person, but this is just how they do.
I think that's the other thing that cannot be stated enough about these girls going through Rush.
Thank you for saying this.
Your GPA and your philanthropy and your extracurriculars are so vital. Your GPA will do more for you in Rush than Sephora, Loves Jack Fancy. You can wear a new Hermes bag every day and you can have a YSL outfit. But if you don't have a great GPA what I call the best houses, my idea of a best house are houses that want well-rounded women that are going to go out in the world and do great things. Is that great thing raising an amazing family? Yes. Is that great thing trying to be the leader of the free world? Also, yes, because I do believe that those sides of the spectrum are very amazing. You can be dripping in a $6,000 outfit, but your GPA and showing how well-rounded you are as a human is going to go further for you in Rush.
Absolutely. And we had one of my mentors who works with me and she said the same thing. She said, they are not looking at your out. I mean, yes, you need to be presenting yourself and feeling confident in what you're wearing, but they're not going to take you. And it's just like, I said it before, I'll say it again. People always say, oh, it's the skinny blondes that are all getting. I've never picked a friend. I've never picked anybody in my life because of the way they look. And I've picked them because they're confident in the way they look, meaning they're confident, and confidence goes a long way. But I have never, and give these girls some credit. These girls they're not, and they're also not out to break each other down. I mean, sure, there are some people in this world who do that, but it's the very small minority.
Right. My girlfriend, her daughter just graduated from Alabama. And, so many of the things she did outside of her sorority were huge. And then the things that she's doing now are huge. And she loved being part of her sorority. And I have to just guess and have to know is that she was chosen because it was like, wait, this person is going to represent us well here at Alabama and in the future. Like this is, they're looking at, people like to say this person came from our sorority, and it's not just an expensive outfit. You have to have more. And so I would tell anyone who says like, oh, that's just for rich girls. Well, there is a cost to it, but it is not a pageant. It is not
Right.
it is not a pageant. It's not a
No.
pageant.
Normally at the end of this podcast, I ask people for their hashtag observation of the day, but I don't need to do that with you. You've had so many good observations, and it's not a pageant is a great one.
Yeah, it's not. It's not. And I think that my sketches about Rush, I mean, I'm amazed at how many people think that is real, that I am actually telling the story of Mary McCordle or Ann McCordle. I get her name wrong.
That's not, it's just being tired.
Yeah, I am a writer and I write based on, but they're like, no, but I think this is really based on other people. And I'm like, yeah, but it's not, I didn't do it, but she's doing what any mother would do, which is just looking out for her daughter, like just getting her prepared.
Right.
One of the questions you wanted to ask, and I want to just kind of, we can end with this because I do think it's important. Moms going to bid day and parents going to bid day, like that is getting bigger and bigger. And you know what my thought on that is? It's always a good idea to celebrate your kids.
That's beautiful. So good to hear.
It's always a good idea to celebrate your kids. We also have to really look at what we put kids through and the whiplash they can get from senior year of high school going into their freshman year. Something we do, which I'm not saying we need to do less of it, but I'm saying we need to be mindful of it. We take seniors in high school and we place them on a high pedestal. We have special services for them at church. Obviously, there's going to be a graduation. There's going to be balloon arches. There's going to be family events. There's going to be, now we are decorating their room with where they're going to college. We have a day where they put their college on their outfit. And there are so many celebrations of a senior, and there's so much of all the things you're going to do. But as soon as you are done, everyone is on to the next class of seniors. And it can be really hard coming back to church and coming back to town that first weekend when you are no longer a senior, because everyone has moved on to the next class of seniors. And they're not really like, are you still making things happen in the world? And so this is really a parent's first chance to celebrate them post that. And to me, I think it is a good signal that, hey, I'm still going to be here cheering everything on for you.
Yeah, that's
and
amazing.
I'm still in your corner, and I'm still here for you. But I just believe that celebrating your kids' wins is always a good idea. Like I joke about how, my son's, his awards day, everybody got one. I'm still going to go. I mean, I'm going to put it in my comedy routine.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm going to joke about it, but I'm still going to go because my son got an award and he was happy that he got the award. I'm not framing it.
Well, and that's the thing too. Yeah, it's just, we didn't get time to do this, but the comments that people make, it's just like, it's like, come on, we're just trying to have a good life and have our kids have a good life, period.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing about social. Look, you and I cannot imagine what your comments have been. You and I have made the conscious decision. We are swimming out in the deep ocean. I tell people I get heckled online. I get love on stage.
There you go.
And I have a philosophy. It's my page, my rules. In the very beginning, I just blocked you. I just would delete your comment and I would just block you. I will still block you. I don't care. I don't have time for it.
Right.
But yeah, everyone wants to be heard. Everyone wants to have an opinion. And that is just part of it. And for you, and I would tell anyone else who is a creator out there trying to get their voice heard, it's your page, it's your rules, protect your peace. If you needed to delete people and block them to keep your peace, do it. I also, if I see that a comment someone has made and then everyone's starting to fight under that comment, I will just delete the original comment.
That's good to know.
because I just don't like fight. I just don't like, I don't like fighting back and forth on my page. My mama would call it the yang. I don't like that yang.
Yeah. Well,
So,
and
yeah.
I also think that's what you just hit the nail on the head. And that's what I said before. The whole thing is that they want to be seen and heard, just like these girls I work with.
Everybody
They just
does.
want to be seen and heard. That's a commonality. It's not, it doesn't mean that the way that they want to be seen and heard is something that I can get behind, but it's still the human need to be heard.
Yes. And I'll even put, somebody said, I would never do this with my child. And I put, okay, marking you down.
Oh my gosh, yes. Marking you down.
Okay. I have marked you down.
Exactly.
And sometimes I'll say, okay, well, marking you safe. And then somebody said, I can't believe you would do this. And I said, this is a sketch.
Right.
Right. And they're like, oh, so you just put on the internet. And I went, well, at comedy school, we call this a bit.
Exactly. Yeah. And that's the thing. And you're so good at it that people actually think this is what you're thinking.
You know what? And my girlfriend told me, she's like, Ellen, you have to take it as a compliment.
Absolutely.
That you are selling it so well that, because people, and you were going to ask, how is your family about you?
Exactly.
I'm like, I'm not. Like I have a 10 and a 14-year-old.
Yeah. So what she's talking about is I had a friend insist that Ellen, and I knew better because I knew why my campaign to get her on this podcast was so long was because she's got a life and she's got kids that she was sending back to school, not college. Yeah. And I had a friend insist that you had a daughter going through Rush. And so when I sent her the notes, which I did not even pull up, when I sent her the notes for this podcast, I said, all right, Ellen's lived through Rush with her daughter. And she said, just so you know, she sent back, just so you know, I don't have a daughter that was going through Rush. And I was like, I knew it. But my friend insisted. And it's because she's so good at what she does that my friend, who is quite possibly one of the gazillion biggest fans of you, she was like, she has a daughter who went through Rush at Alabama this week. And then I was thinking, well, shit, Ellen's about to be on my podcast. And what if her daughter doesn't get a bid? I'm just, and I was like, she's going to be on my podcast. We're recording this the day after bid day. And I was like, anyway, that's all a testament to how good you are.
Thank you. And I would like to say that if my daughter were going through Rush, I would not be worried about her because I had so many people from the University of Alabama offer her rec letters. It's not even funny.
Yeah, there you go.
And I had one of my girlfriends from Mississippi State was like, you have a daughter going through Rush? I mean, why haven't I written her a rec letter? Because she was in school with my husband. We have friends in common. She lives in Atlanta. She was at my Atlanta show. She was like, Ellen, I would do her rec letters. And I'm like, listen, I promise if my daughter is going through Rush, you're will be on it. Yeah. So I feel very protected because just like our amazing tribe of women, I had amazing women in my DMs offer my sweet girl rec letters. And I have no doubt that those mamas would be calling and going, now, her mama. So it would have been all fine. It's just that just is a testament. Okay, she just mentioned her shows. I literally stalk her website, and I'm like, oh, can I drive to Nashville this day? Can I do this? Anyway, she is coming, and I'm so excited because tell people how they can find you. And again, all the stuff is going to be in the show notes. And I don't know why I'm trying to pretend like she needs she's got a gazillion followers because she's so amazing, but we definitely have to do the plug for the shows. Look, not everybody's on the internet. So listen, please, it all helps. So my website is ellenskrmetti.com. That is SKRM, then a vowel. And I have got 2 shows next week in Ohio. Then I have a break. The book comes out. I'm going to be at Reunion Country Club September 11th for a pre-book launch with my friends in Jackson. Then if you go on my website, I am listing all of my book signings I have coming up, and I have some live shows. So I'm going to be doing a show the Wednesday after the book comes out in Nashville, and then I'm doing a show in Atlanta at the Punchline. Yes. And then I have a show in Birmingham, and then I'm going to be in Louisville, Kentucky. No one knows that because I have not announced that yet, and I have to get the link, but I'm going to be in Louisville, Kentucky, and I'm working on going from Louisville up to Knoxville to sign books because that's just like an easy drive. And then I'm trying to convince my husband to bring the kids and us go watch Tennessee versus Mississippi State.
I will cheer for Mississippi State in that game.
Thank you.
But yes, y'all got, I mean, she doesn't need my plug, but
I do. I will take your plug. Please pre-order the book. And so what I'm doing is where I'm going to be. I'm having the stores go ahead and get me a pre-sale link. So that way you can go ahead and say, I'm coming. So that way we have enough books printed.
Yeah, that's
and
a
ready.
good call.
And then also what I love about that too is, listen, I love getting stuff from Amazon and it being here by 10 o'clock tonight, but I also really love shopping local. So I am working with a combination of both. So if you are a smaller store, I want to put your link so that way people aren't pre-ordering on a big store and then coming to your local store. I want people to be able to buy local and then come get their book signed local.
Yeah, I love that too. I always try to buy, I think I pre-ordered from some obscure bookstore of your book. But yes. I'm going to buy a bunch of them because I'm going to give them I'm going to buy them as gifts. But
honestly, every book, my friend Jody said, this book is part memoir, Sunday school lesson, and stand up.
And you can't beat any of that. So yes, I'm super excited about it.
Yes, I just want everyone to come away feeling better. One of the things I say, Publishers Weekly just gave it a really great review, and what they pulled out, and I was like, I really said that.
I saw that review, by the way.
Thank you. I have one of the chapters is called My Height, My Weight, My Business, and it's based on like if I go missing, please don't post my weight. And I talk about my journey with my weight and how it spiraled out and how I started to work out. And you know what? I'm not where I want to be, but I'm not where I was. And I just have to celebrate that part. And I said in the book, but what I learned is that I could lose all the weight in the world. And if I didn't love myself, it wouldn't matter.
So true.
And I think that is what is most important, is that instead of us worrying about pre-baby weights or pre-baby bodies, I really want us all to just love ourselves and be kinder to ourselves. That's
so true. And I will send you a picture after this. I have also been on that journey, and it's a very, I don't know. Learning to love yourself is so important. That's all I'm saying.
It is so.
Just agreeing with you. I should just sit here and just say, because I agree with everything you're saying.
Well, thank you. I need someone because somebody on the internet is going to be like, well, actually,
you still look terrible.
Oh my gosh. I had a guy yesterday on Facebook or over the weekend, and honestly, it wrecked me. It hurt my feelings for a while. But he has Mr. Vance tickets in Augusta, Georgia. He resells Masters tickets. Also, don't put ugly stuff if I can find where you work.
Exactly.
Mr. Vance tickets, he posted in my thing, I didn't worry about my ankles and my double chin was showing. And he said, she's going to end up looking just like her mother. And I posted back, I'm sorry, could you please expand? I'm not quite sure. What do you mean by that? And he goes, truth hurts. And then called me a see you next Tuesday. And then everyone else who took my defense, he proceeded to also call them fat and see you next and call them see you next Tuesdays. And I'm like, gosh,
people like that. Don't buy tickets from him.
Yeah. So I'm like, Mr. Vance's Masters tickets. Who hurt you, sir?
A friend of mine from Macon, Georgia, came to my defense for one of the comments this week. And she said, that's what she said exactly, was whatever the guy's name, I don't even know, and I don't care, was like, who hurt you?
Yeah. sir, you have been, and it's hard to see a woman that is not perfect in every way, still somehow finding the will to live and live her dreams.
And you are doing it and doing it. And I'm impressed. You're inspiration to me. And y'all, just so you know, I started this campaign to get her on my podcast, and she was always willing to do it. She has a lot going on, as you have just heard. And the fact that she did this today is like, that's bucket list for me. And
Thank you. I appreciate you for saying that. Yes, I always wanted to do it. I am just very protective of the family time. I had like 2 weeks left with my kids before they started school. I had been out doing shows, and I just wanted to give them all of me.
Absolutely. I get it.
And
that's what I said back to you. I was like, no, I get it. You do that. That's number priority. And same with me. I mean,
yes, we have to just really compartmentalize and figure out where they go first, because they understand that come September, they might be third.
Exactly. Well, you are the best. Thank you for being here. I can't wait to read your book and see you and meet you in physical person in Atlanta.
I cannot wait to hug your neck.
I'm going to be there the earliest. I'm going to be first in line, but I'm going to get my tickets now.
Wonderful. Wonderful. I love you, Trisha. Thank you for having me.
Welcome to Time Out with Trisha. Because can you really give advice if you don't speak about yourself in the third person? I don't think so. This is exactly how I speak to my clients. The good, the bad, and the ugly. So listen to me. I know what I'm talking about. Now let's get into it. So what do you do if your daughter went through Rush or you went through Rush and did not get the result that you want? I get a lot of questions about this, and I'm going to try to explain your options as clearly as I can. If not, you can email me at info@madrushpod.com with specific questions. So the two things that are available for you are snap bids and COB, which is continuous open bidding. A snap bid is what you would get the night of prefs. So you would participate in bid day just like you got a traditional bid, but it would be after the numbers start coming in and they realize that there are spots. If they do that in time to extend snap bids, that's what that's called. That is a lot more rare than continuous open bidding. And if you dropped out or didn't get the result you wanted, you are on a list for continuous open bids. This list remains all year long. It is a new list. It is not the same list as the sororities had during Rush Week. So you're starting fresh. And so it doesn't matter if you were cut or released early from a sorority house, you can still possibly get a continuous open bid. And this continuous open bid process goes from probably the day after Rush ends, and it goes all year long. And it's all based on chapter totals. So it's not just some sororities that do it sometimes. It can be if a senior goes inactive for whatever reason, then the chapter total, the number of people in the sorority, goes lower by 1. So then they have the option to extend a continuous open bid to someone. It doesn't have to be someone dropping out in the pledge class. That said, it's also their prerogative to give out these bids. So they may decide they just want to have one less person in the chapter. Anyway, that list is evolving and ever changing all year. So what you need to do is message the sorority houses that you're interested in and say, hey, however you want to say this, I am on the COB list and I'm still interested in your sorority. And I loved meeting the people in Rush, if you met them, and would love to be considered if a spot comes up. That way, they know you're interested in them, and that can help you move up the list of continuous open bid participants. Anyway, I hope that helps. If you have specific questions, like I said, just email me. And that's it for Time Out with Trisha. We'll see you on another episode of the Mad Rush Podcast. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Mad Rush Podcast. If you are enjoying this podcast, please consider leaving us a 5-star review. For additional Rush tips, updates, and more, please follow me on Instagram at Rush with Confidence. If you would like to reach out to us or for more information, please email info@madrushpod.com. This podcast is produced by Collier Landry and Don't Touch My Radio. Copyright Trisha Addicts.